Hi guys, how are you doing? I hope you're as excited as I am. I'm really excited because this is the last lecture. This is the final lecture of this mentorship. And for those of you who have followed me so far, I am very, very grateful. I appreciate your commitment and your consistency in watching these lectures. I hope and I really hope that you've been able to gain something from them. And I hope some of this information has impacted your trading and your life in a little way, no matter how little that may have been. So, yes, this lecture is not technical or it's not. This lecture is just a conversation between me and you. It's just some things that I think you should keep in mind. Again, remember this mentorship is for you to decide if trading is something you want to do, not if you should trade. Just decide if it's something you want to do, not just find out if it's something you will like to endeavor in. And yes, so let's get started with today's lecture. So, how do you go from a student to an independent trader? And this is what I would like to discuss with you here because it's important for you to understand that trading is an independent business. It's mostly an independent journey because it's largely psychological related. So you'll be battling with yourselves most of the time rather than battling with other people. You'll be battling with your emotions, your discipline, your habits, and those are the things that would determine the success of your trading. So, yes, the truth is, truly, you will remain a student forever. However, after some time, you no longer need to learn from a mentor or a teacher. All your lessons will come from the charts and your interactions with the market. And this is where, even if you end up having a mentor, keeping a journal and back testing and tracking your data is still very important because this is how you will know over time that something is no longer working, something can be changed, and something can be fixed. So it's important for you to keep in mind that you keep learning. However, there are different types of learning. There is the learning where you totally overhaul what you've been doing in the past. That is not advisable. The learning that you end up doing is slight adjustments, adjustment to what you do in terms of your behavior, your reaction, adjustment in how you look at risk, mental adjustments, not strategy adjustment or strategy flipping, not changing your peers or your instruments completely, just some tiny little changes. Over time, it may add up to you completely changing the types of instruments you trade or the time frame. It can happen. You might go from a scalper to a swing trader to a position trader over time, but it shouldn't just be a radical change. It shouldn't be a spontaneous change. It should take a process. So it is very important to develop self-awareness. Again, self-awareness, and patience will take you very far in this business. Trading will dig deep into your personality and will force you to evolve. Remember what I said? It will force personal development like never before. So setting realistic goals and expectations. So understanding growth in trading. So most traders enter the market expecting to double or triple their accounts very quickly. That's not going to happen. But trading, like any other profession, has a learning curve. The first goal isn't to get rich; it is to get consistent. Just as doctors or pilots spend years training before earning big, traders must first focus on building skill and discipline. So why unrealistic expectations will kill your trading career? One is emotional burnout. You get frustrated when results don't match unrealistic goals. Over leveraging, you're trying to make it fast, which often leads to you blowing your accounts and leading to the death of your trading. So lack of patience, you abandon strategies before they show you results. And this is a very important topic because let's say you learn a strategy in January and you backtest it in February and March, and then you go into the chart April, May, June. And April, May, June, it doesn't work, but it worked in your backtest January, February. The What may happen is just cycles of the market. So every trader actually needs a full year to be able to decide if a strategy has worked. So if you're backtesting, it is very important to backtest a full year on a simple strategy, on a single strategy, a full year, so you know how it works. So because if you backtest and it works on your backtest, and then you go live and it doesn't work, it may not be that the strategy has failed. It may be that the season has changed, and you just need to wait. So how would you know this if you don't have a large data set of back tested? So in this period where it might not work or might just be in a pause period, most traders just go and learn a new strategy, a new technique, and you just end up in a vicious circle, just keep turning and turning, you ain't going nowhere. So there's also the comparison trap. You're judging your progress by someone else's highlights or reels, Instagram influencers, and all of that. A good portion of it is not true. A good portion of what you see online is not real. And for the ones that are real, most of the money is not even coming from trading. It's coming from mentorships. It's coming from YouTube. It's coming from influencing. So you must keep that in mind. Remember, what looks like overnight success often hides years of quiet work. More about realistic goals. Instead of chasing big returns, you need to focus on small, repeatable wins. So beginners aim for 1 to 3% monthly while maintaining a low drawdown. A low drawdown should be your main focus. Trying to ensure that you're not losing too much per month, per week, that should be your main target. The moment you've survived losses, the moment you're able, it is, you know, the job of a trader is to be a professional loser. You must be so good at losing that losing does not hurt you anymore. That's your job. So intermediate traders, you then go for higher returns, 3 to 7% monthly as your system matures. Advanced traders, 8 to 12%, and this is even relative. Some advanced traders are trading 3%, 4% per month, even less. And while what traders do to earn more is just increase the risk. It's not increase their trading or anything like that. It's to increase the risk. So a consistent 5% monthly growth compounded equals 80% yearly returns without unnecessary risk. 80% sounds small until you're trading $1 million or $10 million or $100 million, and all of this is possible. It's just how far you can believe and how much you can believe that you will achieve. Because people right now, people are doing billions of dollars in trade management, albeit maybe under an institution, but it is very possible. So yeah, I put the image of the top 20 hedge fund managers as at 2016. So if you check the return on some of these hedge funds at the end of the year is very reasonable returns. Some of them do 10%, some of them do 5%, some of them do 3%, and some of them even take losses. But albeit the losses are not exponential losses, and this is very important for you to know that the biggest funds in the world are not trying to. They're not trying to do too much. They have a large capital, which makes it easy for them. But imagine $100 billion, and you are able to do 5% of that every year. It's a lot of money for you, for your investors, and for everyone around that business. So, how do you measure growth beyond money? True growth in trading is not just about your balance sheet. You need to track your emotions. How well do you manage fear and greed, which are the two major emotions? You need to track your consistency. How often do you follow your plan, your routine, your protocol? You need to track your risk management. Are you respecting your stop losses? Are you respecting your risk parameters? Are you over trading? You need to track all of this. I need to track your journal quality. Are you reviewing and learning from your past trades? Are you tracking the important things? Are you taking note of what is relevant? So these are signs of a maturing trader, and they always precede financial success. The moment you are doing these things consistently, you will have a plateau period where you are doing them consistently and you're not seeing any success. But rest assured, there is a pot of gold of at the end of the rainbow. And the rainbow has no end anyways. But yes, trading success is a journey and not a jackpot. So the traders who last are the ones who accept slow, steady progress because they build strong habits that compound into wealth. Remember, what you gain hastily, you most likely would lose hastily because you do not necessarily, in the process of gaining it, also acquire the relevant skills, knowledge, expertise, wisdom to keep it. Making money, keeping money, multiplying money, all different skill sets. And that you have money now doesn't mean you will have it tomorrow, because you may be able to consistently make money over the years, and that keeps some people alive, that keeps some people going. But a point might come, anything can happen such that you might not be able to make money. So if you don't have the skills of multiplying money or keeping money in that regard, then the lack of those skills will be evident even if you can keep making money. So all of these are very important. And the experience you gain while making money, one thing it forces you to have is the respect for the resources that you gain. So that forces you to want to keep it. And when you want to do something, you learn how to do. You start finding out, how can I do this? How can I do this? I don't want to risk too much. I just want to keep it somewhere safe. I want to buy assets. So because of the experience you gain when making the money, you tend to respect it such that you don't want to be too excessive with it. Again, just the common occurrence with jackpots, with jackpot winners, or where they make huge sums of money and then over a couple years they've lost it all and gone back to zero. So that's because they did not make it with experience and with any input. So the traders who will last are the ones who accept slow, steady progress because they build strong habits that compound into what. In trading, you don't rise to your dreams; you fall to the level of your discipline. So if your disciplines and your systems are very high, then your success will be there. If you actually make a whole lot more than your systems and your disciplines, you would balance. It will balance out eventually, because it's just how the mind works. So it's just how the self-image works. If you have a self-image, even if you were given something way larger than your self-image, you would end up coming back to your self-image. Self-image is like the calibrating system in an airplane. So if an airplane is on autopilot and the wind blows it aside, autopilot knows to bring it back on course. So that's what self-image. So even if you make $1 billion overnight, if you are not there yet, you will come back to your level. By all means, the individual will do everything possible to come back to his level. If your level is $100 million, you will find a way to lavish the 900 million. Somehow you will. I can't conceptualize how that's possible, but somehow the truth is the individual will, except they can quickly match up to the level of the resources that they now have. So the trader's journey. So how to become your own edge. So these are just going to be final musings that just keep this in mind as you take your leave from this mentorship. I hope you revisit these videos and lectures occasionally. So the realization is that by now you have learned about market structure, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, risk management, trading psychology, consistency, and the importance of process, structure, and routine in trading. But the deeper lesson is this: every great trader eventually discovers that the market doesn't reward talent, it rewards discipline. That is very important for you to take note of. It rewards your discipline, your patience, your consistency, your systems. That's what it rewards. It doesn't really matter how talented you are, how intelligent you are, how smart you're. Trading is the level of all people. You have education, you don't have education, you got a master's degree, you're a PhD holder, you're a high school grad. It doesn't care. If you can be disciplined, if you can do the right things, you'll find success. It's not really about what you know or who you are. That doesn't matter in trading. Your goal was never just to learn how to trade. Your goal was to learn how to think, react, and decide as a trader. So also trading is a mirror. Trading will reflect you back to yourself. Your fears, your impatience, your greed, your ego, they will all show up in your trades. It's one of the few professions where emotional intelligence determines profit. There is a course of study called behavioral finance. It's very, very important. And the basic description of what that is at the end of the day, most of the money in the world is moving based on people's emotions. At the end of the day, most of the decisions that people make is just emotional decisions. It's not all that logical. You may think most people are doing logical things. Most people are not. Most people are just, they buy when they are greedy, they sell when they are scared. It's just emotions. No real reason why people are doing things. There is a few select people who do things with reason, but most people are not. It's one of the few professions where emotional intelligence determines your profit. You can't control the market, forget about it. You can identify repeatable patterns, which is how we all make money. They are repeatable patterns, but you cannot force that a pattern would repeat at any specific period of time. But over a large period, you can predict, assume, you can anticipate that a certain number of these patterns will repeat over this period of time, and that you now want to participate and take advantage of those patterns in that time frame. And patterns are various, different strategies with their different styles. It doesn't matter. You don't There is no better strategy. There is no Because if you have the best strategy without emotion, without systems, you're still going to fail. You can only control your mindset, your risk, your reactions, and your consistency. So if you think rightly, you have to also think positively. You have to believe that you can, because if you don't believe you can, then there's no success in it. So you have to believe you can. You have to understand that there's no exponential returns. 1 to 2% a month is okay. It is not small. Your capital is just little, and capital will come eventually. So your risk, when it comes to the technical side of trading, your risk is the only thing you can control. You must always be conscious of how much you're risking before you go into a trade. Your reactions, how you prevent trading, are you closing it halfway, are you entering where you shouldn't enter, so these are very important. Your consistency is also important. What time do you show up on the chart? If you're supposed to be on chart by 1:30, are you showing up by 1:30, or you're still playing around until it's like 1:45? All these things are very important. Treat it like a business. Is there an office time? Is there a close time? Are you focused when you're on the chart? Are you playing games on your phone? These things are very important. You have to be consistent. The chart doesn't test your knowledge, the chart tests your self-control. So let's talk about the path ahead of you. So now that you have the foundation, here's what you should focus on going forward. One, you need to find a strategy and master it. Just one strategy is all you need. Master one strategy. Avoid hopping from system to system. Now, I want you to remember this. The day when you will decide to hop from one strategy to another, I want you to remember these words, that it is not going to help you find success. So I hope you listening to that would remind you the day you are able to change your strategy or change your mentor, because the day you're about to do that, just remember it's not going to help you find success, and you will come back to that point again where you're looking for another system and looking for another strategy. It is a vicious circle. Avoid hopping from system to system. Pick one that fits your personality and refine it relentlessly. Your edge grows through repetition of variety. Keep a journal. Your journal is your best mentor. Your journal is your most powerful trading tool. Review your wins and your losses, track your emotions, and note patterns. Over time, it reveals your strengths and weaknesses more clearly than any mentor could. Embrace the boring. The best traders are not thrill seekers, they are executors. When your process feels boring, that's usually a sign of maturity. You've replaced emotional chaos with calm routine. Boring is power, boring is profit, boring is prosperity. Focus on longevity. Trading is about a month or a year, it's about staying in the game for a long period of time. It's a career, it's a business. It's not something you're not going to make $1 million, $1 billion in 1 year. And if you did, you will still want to make it the next year and the next year. So why not just accept that it's a long-term business and be ready to stay in it for the long term, and take your time, learn what you have to learn, build the systems, build the relationships, build the discipline. So you need to learn to manage risk so you can trade again tomorrow. Again, like the example of climbing Mountain Everest, if you save your life, if there's an avalanche, if you're able to save your life, you can always climb Everest again. So save your life in every situation so that another time you can do that which you want to do again. So save your account so that you can trade again. Manage your risk. It is very important. So let compounding of skills and capital do the heavy lifting. So again, you need to understand that your skills will have to marinate over a period of time. It's not a sudden occurrence. It's not spontaneous. one day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 hour, 5 hours, 10 hours, it compounds and then it becomes a part of you. So let your skills can compound, and your capital can also, your capital certainly will compound. So let your skills compound. Put in an hour every day, put in 2 hours every day, put in 30 minutes. When you're not doing anything, take a little 5 minutes and just watch something or check the chat, or just do that. Add up hours. Add up hours, and eventually you will enjoy the effect of compounding. So common mistakes to avoid after this course, after this mentorship. One is chasing new gurus or indicators. You don't need to chase too many gurus. I would explain how to find a proper mentor for you now. And if you want, I will share some of the people that I really admire and that I can refer you to. Over leveraging out of excitement is not necessary. Ignoring your rules after a few losses. Trading out of boredom or emotion. Comparing your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 10. Joining every signal group out there. Account management. You need to avoid doing it for people, and you need to avoid doing it for you as well. Putting FX at the back of your name. Now, I would advise you not to do that. It's not necessary. The attention is not necessary. The pressure is not necessary. There's no need for it. It's not even such cliche that it's not admirable again. Why are you putting FX at the back of your name? You are more than FX. It's not the only thing that represents you. But I mean, if it's your forte, why not try it? Every trader goes through rough patches. What matters is not perfection, but persistence. You cannot be perfect. Even doctors are not perfect. It is sad to admit that, but even doctors make mistakes. And that is one of the most highly precision requirement jobs in the world. So pilots are also not perfect. They make mistakes, they do things that are wrong, but we humans have found a way to just get better over time. We understand there's always something to improve. If not, there won't be new models, there won't be new versions of things. So defining success for yourself. You may not become a millionaire in your first few years, and that's okay. What matters is growth. If you trade smarter, stay disciplined, and think long term, you're already ahead of 90% of traders. Success in trading isn't measured by how fast you grow, but by how long you can stay consistent. Now, the truth is, yes, you may not become a millionaire quickly, but the truth is, I mean, I'm not trying to sell you dreams or hopes, but the truth is, if you stay consistent, all of your dreams will come true eventually. Eventually, you'll be able to achieve it. The asymmetric return of trading, that is the amount of input to the reward that trading has, is such that at eventually you would have all that money which you desire. Eventually, there is no way you wouldn't. I can go ahead and tell you that you just go little, go small. No, because eventually you would know how to increase your risk. If you have a small account, you would be confident enough to increase your risk because you now have experience under you. And as your track record builds, capital will come to you. I'm not saying you will look for capital. Capital will come to you eventually. It will find you. It's just the way things work. It's just like a moth, flying into the fire, or like ants looking for food. It will just come to you. You will be radiating profits, and capital will find you. So that's why you just build up yourself, and all that money will eventually come to you. Again, the idea of chasing money it's not very exciting. We need to get to the point where we start attracting money, where it starts coming to us, where any such thing that you do, it will just make you prosperous, and that's possible. It's not about taking it overly spiritual, but if you become a professional at what you do, the respect will naturally come, the honor will naturally come, and the regard will come. And if you want to do business with people, in fact, the more respectable you are in the business you do, the more people would want to relate and engage with you. So some parting words is trading will test you, it will humble you. So before it humbles you, I advise you to just remain humble. Do not let it force you humility. Remain humble. Just know that I'm not the best human being on earth. I'm not the best trader on earth. I can make mistakes. I can read it wrongly. So stay humble. Don't over risk. If you're going to over risk out of excitement, let me add this here. Let it be a small capital so that you can afford to lose the entire capital. And but that's when you're even more advanced. That mindset of trying to take 100 to 10,000. It's not necessary now. As you become more advanced, out of excitement for the fun of it, to encourage some people in your circle that don't want to trade, you may do these things. But it is not advisable for you to start doing that now. So, but it would also teach you patience, discipline, and focus. These are traits that improve every other part of your life. Again, stay a student, stay curious, keep showing up, even when it feels slow, even when it feels low, even when it feels down, even when it feels bad. Keep showing up. Don't let your trading lead to knowledge. Always take action with what you know. And if there's a knowledge that you have and you don't know how to take action, reach out to people, reach out to me, reach out to others. How can I do this? It's important for you to keep taking action. Action is more important than knowledge, because how do you know if your knowledge is actually that valuable if you've not tested it? So because one day you will look back and realize you didn't just learn how to trade the market, you learn how to master yourself. And yeah, it's true, eventually you become a very self-aware person that you blend it into life. You'll be able to look at people, you'll be able to look through this is truth of situations and people. You'll be able to weigh the risk to reward of events in life. You would naturally know fights not to go into. It will just make you a more calculated person. It's like chess, it just makes you it just makes you a better person. It elevates you from your current base emotions, and yeah, that's what it's going to do. It's going to help you master yourself. Again, that will bring us to the end of this lecture. But before I end this, I want to explain to you how you can find a very worthy mentor. So the first thing is this: you must identify the kind of trader that you want to be. With this knowledge that you have now, you can check: do I want to be a scalper, be a swing trader, be, identify the kind of trader that you want to be. Then I would advise you at first, follow all of them, all of the mentors you can find within your country, outside of your country, follow all of them. Then look at the ones who trade how you think you want to trade. Now, after you filter them out, the ones that you filter out, don't ever look at them again. You don't need it. Their motivation is most times, most of it is faked, but for the ones who aren't, I hope it encourages you positively. So yeah, filter them, find the ones who you want to, who inspire you, who their trading style is similar to what you want to trade. And after you find these people, there are other things which you must look at. You must look at their personality, how they talk, because most of them have free content online. So you must check out how they talk, how they relate to people, their lifestyle. You must check these things, because a mentor is not just pouring knowledge of trading into you, he's going to pour himself into you. I talk like my own mentor. That's the truth. I talk like my own mentor, and he's poured himself into me, not just his trading, but his mind, himself, his life, So find the one whose character you think you like, who suits you. This is different for all people, and there is no perfect person. We need varieties. We need variety in life, and different people with different behavior and character. That's what makes our life, all our collective lives beautiful. So there is no perfect person. Find that person. It doesn't have to be somebody with a large following. Find that person who appeals to you. Now, there's so many ways you can find somebody who appeals to you. For some of you are very religious. You may want to follow a trader who is as religious as you think, as you are, or as you think they are. And you may want to follow this kind of person. You may want to follow one who is a very philosophical person. Just somebody who appeals to you, somebody whom if they speak, you will get it immediately. You want a connection. It's almost like a marriage. You want a connection with your mentor. So when you find that person, I would advise, if you can afford, just pay for their mentorship. If you can afford, just pay for their mentorship. And if you can't, consume all the free information that they have, and just stick with it until hopefully maybe you can save up and pay for their mentorship or anything in that regard. And paying for mentorship, it has its disadvantages, but I can promise you, even if you end up being scammed, it will still push you ahead faster. I can promise you. So paying for a mentorship and getting in a community and listening to a mentor, and it helps you. It helps your journey. It helps you achieve success faster, as long as you listen, as long as you follow their advices. And when you're ready to leave, don't stay there. When you think you've outgrown it, you just leave and become a trader of yourself. And there's nobody's going to harm you for that. Nobody's going to judge you for that. So I hope that helps, right? I just thought I would add that, and how you can find somebody who you can relate with, and stick with them. That's another thing. Stick with them. The only other thing you might now do is, if you have other mentees and colleagues and friends in that community who trade the same thing, yes, you can now form a community, share ideas, and that's how you build community. And your community should be very similar. It should be, you don't, of course, I'm not saying you can't be friends with somebody who is showing a different strategy. I'm just saying, if somebody who is showing a different strategy is your friend, you're most likely talking in terms of fundamentals or psychology. You're not talking strategy, because you don't want a strategy clash. You don't want to be seeing a buy setup and they're seeing a sell setup, and because you trust the person, or because their last trade was a profit and yours was a loss, all of those things you want to avoid. You don't want to talk too much strategy with people. You want to focus on yourself and focus on your own trading. So yes, guys, I'll bring it to landing here, and this will be our final landing on this mentorship. Who knows, maybe someday I'll do a 2.0 and refresh this and buff it up a little bit. I wish you all the very best in your trading journey. I would encourage you to watch these videos, watch this lecture, share with your friends, and I hope you got one or two things from this. And again, sincerely, I wish you all the very best. I encourage you to remain consistent. I encourage you to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you will not find any success. So believe in yourself at first, that you can. It will be tough, but you can. There's nothing impossible. Think of what we humans have achieved collectively. We've gone to space. We've landed on the moon. It's amazing what humans can do and what the human mind is capable of. So, albeit trading is difficult, but it is not insurmountable. You can surmount it. You can succeed, and you will. Eventually you will. Just know that you will. No matter how difficult it is, believe that you can, and you will. So yes, I will. I'll take it to landing here, and I wish you all the best. I hope that you have a great year, and that all your dreams do come true and all your endeavors do become successful. So until the next time, I wish you all peace and good luck.